Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. Lots of big news on this Wednesday where Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch spoke to the media, and he just confirmed that Nick Sorensen has been relieved of his defensive coordinator duties, and Brian Schneider has been fired from the head being the special teams coordinator. So Brian Schneider is fired. He will not be with the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan said it was a tough decision. He really likes him. Nick Sorensen, however, has been relieved of his duties, but is still under contract. So Kyle Shanahan said that it is a possibility that Nick Sorensen comes back as the team's special teams coordinator. So he has a lot of appreciation for Nick Sorensen, likes him as a person, likes him as a coach. So thinks that he wasn't, always in the best situation with all the personnel changes that happened, guys getting injured. He tried to adjust as much as possible, but it just didn't work out well. So it could be that Nick Sorensen ends up as the special teams coordinator. He was special teams assistant for a couple years in Seattle, and he was the coordinator in Jacksonville for a year. So it could be that he stays on the staff. It's up to Nick Sorensen to decide what his choices are in that aspect. As far as who will be the defensive coordinator, yes, Robert Saleh could be a candidate. But I think Jeff Ulbrich is a guy who the 49ers could bring in. Kyle Shanahan has always spoken very highly of Ulbrich. He was with the 49ers as a player for a long time, and he's done a really good job as the Jets defensive coordinator. Yes, Robert Saleh, excuse me, was fired, and Jeff Ulbrich was interim head coach for a minute. But he's a guy that is familiar with the Bay Area, knows the Bay Area a lot, is from here. So, I think that might be a great choice. He's, a defensive minded guy. And if you watched any of the Hard Knocks about the Jets, the personality I think fits with guys like Chris Kasarik. And I think it could be a good fit. So Kyle Shanahan, excuse me, and John Lynch are kind of excited that they have a little extra time to put their staff together because usually they get the last choices, right? So a lot of the guys get snatched up throughout the playoffs. The 49ers have been playing deep into the playoffs and they can't hire anyone until, everybody's done. So they can't hire one until they're done. The 49ers coaching staff often gets poached. Probably won't this year. So those are kind of the couple of coaching changes. Also, Clay Kubiak, who has been kind of Kyle Shanahan's right-hand man, kind of like how Mike McDaniel was previously. Clay Kubiak was given play calling responsibilities in Arizona and during the preseason. So he has now been named title-wise as the offensive coordinator for the 49ers. Kind of doing him a solid, giving him play calling opportunities. And then, this is like a springboard, like Mike McDaniel, to maybe go to the next stop. So, as far as players go, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan spoke about Dre Greenlaw and how they would love to keep him in the building. That is one of their priorities. They want, they would love nothing better than to have Dre Greenlaw back on the field with the 49ers. And so the social media post that was kind of hinting that Dre Greenlaw might not be with the 49ers anymore, it is the end of his contract. He is a free agent. I think the 49ers will try to do everything possible to keep him in the building, but if someone offers him a lot more money, I think, Dre Greenlaw may take that opportunity. And it also, if it's a successful team, I don't think Dre Greenlaw would go to a team that has been struggling or is having issues for, a little bit more money. I think he would stay with the 49ers. I spoke to him on the field before the last game at Levi Stadium, and I said, "Hey, if I don't see you, if I, don't talk to you, I hope you are back." So he's like, "Hey, I would love to be back." He's like, "Hey, if they want to get it done, they'll get it done. If they want me back, they'll make it work." He said, "I don't know. We'll see what happens." Wasn't super positive, but I do know that there is a possibility. So, I think Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner next to each other on the defense is a huge boon for the 49ers. And I think they need to make that priority. Another priority for the 49ers obviously is Brock Purdy. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are 100% committed to Brock Purdy being the franchise quarterback. So both of them said we want Brock Purdy in the building for as long as we can. Kyle Shanahan said, I want Brock Purdy here as long as I'm here. And so, that says a lot. That's a lot of confidence they have in Brock Purdy and they want him to be around. So Brock Purdy, I think, earned a ton of points saying, I want to do this as fast as possible. I want it to be respectful. I don't want any drama. I want to get it done so we can just hit the ground running during OTAs. And I know a guy who he wants to hit the ground running with is Ricky Pearsall, who, you can't have anything but respect for a guy who wishes he could play more at this point. He was held back out of OTAs and training camp with a few injuries, hamstring and shoulder, and then the gunshot incident. And man, for a guy who went through all of that, Kyle Shanahan said, I didn't expect anything from him this year. And he's like, what he's done and the productivity that they've gotten from him at the end of the season, he said it's remarkable. So he is really happy with how Ricky came through the season and looking forward to him and what he will bring to the team going forward. Um, Spoke to Christian McCaffrey in at locker cleanout day, and he said Achilles are 100%. They're fine. Healing from the PCL just needs time. So that's the knee injury that happened in Buffalo. Trent Williams update. He had a bruise in the joint of his ankle, which really took a lot longer to heal than they thought it would. And just recently, it started to feel better. So for the longest time, it was not improving, not improving. And now just more recently, they've seen positive results that he's getting better. So he does want to play another year. He is committed. He is feeling better and wants to prove that he can play even longer. So good news on the Trent Williams front. So many updates from the 49ers and John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. But I think for the most part, they want to keep the guys that have been producing for them together. Javon Hargrave, they are releasing him and he is free to test the market, but they would like to have him back. They just want to have him back at a little less money because they have to plan for guys like potentially Dre Greenlaw, but definitely Brock Purdy. So they want to make sure they have enough money. And one of those guys that kind of is collateral damage from that is Javon Hargrave. So they would like to have him back, but they're going to let him see if he can make more money on the open market. And otherwise, they will have him back. So those are the updates here on this Wednesday. And sorry I missed out yesterday. Just had a bunch of stuff going on, but I'll try to give you more updates as we go along. All right. Definitely drop a like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll do more of these as we go along through the off season. All right, everybody, talk to you soon.